Do you ever feel like sometimes knife design is just getting stale? Knife after knife is being released, and yet for some reason they all just kind of look and feel the same.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
It can be frustrating, especially when you're waiting on the edge, waiting for something cool, waiting for something different. Today, I've got 6 awesome knives from our friends over at DC Blades. Let's go ahead and check out the new lineup. Hey, how's it going, everybody? If you're new here, welcome in. And if you've been here before, smash the like button on the way in. I'm Rollshambo, the connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny. And a big shout out and thank you to my friends over at DC Blades. So far, I've checked out the DC Blades Ceto. I've checked out the DC Blades Vendetta. I've checked out the Scythe and the Scythe XL. And you know what? I love what DC Blades is doing out there. And I was also super excited when they reached out and said, hey, we've got a whole lineup of knives. Do you want to check them out? Well, of course, the answer is yes. And today I've got 6 knives to show you. And I'm really excited about each of them, all for different reasons. And that kind of makes this really, really fun. So let's go ahead and start off with the first one that honestly, this could be a budget knife of the year contender. And hear me out. When I say budget knife of the year contender, I'm talking about under $100. Yes, in 2025, the year of the tariff, I consider quality knives under $100 to be budget. Fight me in the comment section if you disagree. This is the DC Blades Glowung. Yeah, that is a crazy name. I'll make sure to pop the definition of Glowung onto the screen for your viewing pleasure. This is really, really cool. And they've got several different variations of this knife. They start off at $75 for the G10 variation, and then they go upwards of $80 for a regular carbon fiber variant. This is $90 with silver twill carbon fiber. And yes, those are solid silver twill carbon fiber handle scales. The overall length is going to be coming in around 6.8 inches overall with a 14C28N blade, which is PVD coated. This is a seriously aggressive blade shape, and it's one where you might be wondering, well, I mean, that's not a very big knife. How does it fit in the hands? Well, because of how they have stylized these handle scales, I actually do get a full 4-finger grip in a regular grip. It's close, but I do get that. You can, of course, move your index finger up right here, and your thumb rests naturally right there on that swell of the blade. It is a compound grind. What compound grind means is that we've got a flat grind up front, and then right here, we've got a reverse hollow grind. That's really cool. We've got a deployment window here, which doesn't quite go through the blade, but it does give you enough purchase to do a reverse flick really well. It does a thumb flick very well. And of course, it is a liner lock. Now, Miguron is the OEM for all of the knives I'm about to show you today. And if you're familiar with Miguron, you know that they are very good when it comes to the overall fit and finish. The feel of quality that Miguron is capable of these days is absolutely outstanding. Now, the biggest issue with this knife is that it's mesmerizing to look at. That silver twill carbon fiber. We don't see enough silver twill out there these days. We should see more because it's so good. I'm not the biggest fan of basket weave carbon fiber. Generally, I like, camo carbon fiber and fat carbon fiber and dark matter carbon fiber. I like the colors, okay? But there's something about silver twill which just looks so damn good. We got a 3D milled titanium pocket clip, T8 hardware, all the way around on a single-sided captive pivot. I'm really digging their new logo that they put there on the pivot. That pocket clip is reversibles. Lefties rejoice. They were, of course, thinking of you. In a reverse grip, feels good. Feels great in a reverse grip. Feels good in a regular grip as well. It's aggressive, and I really like how that looks. The appearance of this knife is really cool, and the action is very smooth. Now, it is a PVD finish on this blade, and because the smoothness of the action, a lot of that depends upon the detent ball having to wear a track through that PVD finish. It does take a little bit of fidgeting around with for it to break in, but once it does, man, it is really snappy. It fits in the pocket well, and it's not super heavy either. There's a lot to love here on this knife. For $90, Yeah, this one's definitely getting the seal of approval. Next up, we've got the DC Blades Sting, and this is one wicked knife. I know we just got done talking about a compound grind, but check this out. This one is crazy. And yeah, it's got a little bit of schmutz on it. I did do some regular cardboard cutting with this knife. This knife is impressive for a couple different reasons, and it is the most expensive knife that I'm going to be showing today, but I really want to focus on the grind on this blade. Check this out. We've got a deep hollow grind right here, and then a flat grind right here, and then a swedge right there. The beauty of this blade is in all the different angles that blade takes, and the shape and the science behind it. It gets nice and thin up here near the tip, which is going to be perfect for piercing, and then it gets nice and thin back here near the heel of the blade, which is going to allow for some great slicing at the same time. Now, where this knife really shines is going to, of course, be in the reverse grip. These are kind of defensive style minded knives, but what I really like about the Sting is that you can, of course, use it in a regular grip as well. There's a few knives we're going to show tonight where you can't really use it very well in a regular style grip, and that's going to be a turnoff for a lot of people. For those people, I would say definitely check out the Sting. The Sting has this kind of rhino-esque look to it. It's nasty and gnarly in all the right ways, and one of the things that I really like about it is the sneaky deployment options. You look at this and you're like, what is that? What were they thinking? Listen, not only can you reverse flick off of that, but if you didn't know, this is a new take on the Emerson wave. And when I say a new take, I mean that it doesn't quite look like the Emerson wave that we're used to seeing on the Spyderco knives that are out there, or the Emerson knives that are out there, but you can actually thumb flick off of that. Yeah, you can do that. It also has a regular flipper tab right here, which is kind of got this notchy feeling to it, and it sounds really good as well. The blade is DLC coated M390, and these handle scales are gorgeous. Miguron absolutely killed it. These are, of course, 3D milled and contoured with the silver foil carbon fiber inlays, T8 hardware all the way around, single-sided captive pivot, 3D milled titanium pocket clip with a 3D milled titanium backspacer that has this kind of almost floating backspacer look to it. Yeah, they did a really good job on that, and I love the way that that backspacer comes up about halfway, a little over halfway on the handle scales. This is really comfortable in both a regular grip and on a reverse grip. All of this excellent craftsmanship is right now on sale for $225 on the DC Blades website. Just like with the other knives, I'll make sure to link it down below. But guys, this one is super cool, and it's not quite like anything else I've seen out there on the market. I've been very impressed with the DC Blades Sting, and I think a lot of people are really going to like this one. Love what they did with the blade grind. Love what they did with the handle scales. The DC Blades Sting is definitely a winner. This next one is kind of difficult to talk about because it does not have a name. It doesn't have a name. It's referred to as Nameless, and some of these were for sale at Blade Show, and they sold out, and they're going to be available again here soon. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure what the price is going to be on here, and I'm also not entirely sure what the name of it's going to be, or if it's just forever going to be known as the Nameless. Now, full disclosure, you don't have to get it with this gorgeous Timascus, but look at that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Timascus inlay. I'm not entirely sure if this blade is PVD or if it's DLC, and also because it's a very neutral blade. There is no markings on it whatsoever. So I'm not sure. Is this 14C? Is it M390? I don't have any specific information on the blade steel on this, or if this is in fact DLC or PVD coating, but what I can tell you is that this is a really cool knife, and on this one you can use these bits right here as a way to wave open the knife. That is significant because we were just talking about the DC Blade Sting and how the wave was kind of unconventional as far as waves go. This is definitely a new take on that, and this is also definitely a knife that is going to shine primarily in the reverse grip. I'm really enjoying this matte black aesthetic that they have going on here. The deployment option on here is going to be 1 part front flipper, 1 part thumb stud. Those thumb studs, they work really well. The thumb stud is not going to leave you hanging. You could, of course, use this in a regular setting. It's just not going to be great for the extended cuts in a regular grip. Again, it's really going to shine primarily in a reverse grip. That Hawksbill style, recurve style blade is wicked, but it's also a really cool secondary carry option. I'm a big fan of that. The ergos on here, specifically in a reverse grip, feel really, really good. And we've got a decent amount of recurve here, which means that it's going to be easy to trap materials in the cut, and it's going to allow you to stay in the cut for longer. Of course, if you are someone that has trained with a Pikal style knife, that's what this is. It's a Pikal style folding knife, and that's something that DC Blades has done a really good job of specializing in over the last couple of years. T8 hardware all the way around is standard. It is a frame lock. The frame lock, of course, is going to be locking out, I would say that's about 40%. Yeah, about 40%. How's the action? The action is good. I will say this, it is easy to accidentally get in the way of that front flipper that comes all the way back here, but it's not a huge deal. Just got to remember the front flipper is there, and the front flipper is really, really snappy. It's got a nice amount of detent there, and this one is quite cool. If Timascus isn't your thing, they also have other color carbon fiber as well. This one's cool. It's really cool. People have been asking about it, and it's got some nice features. Like, for example, that Timascus pivot collar. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. 3mm titanium pocket clip. Very nice. Very well done. Very interesting. DC Blades, if you're watching, is it going to remain nameless? Is this going to be like the John Wick of your collection? This is so cool. Really enjoying what they did here with this unconventional style wave. I'm not entirely sure if that was intentional or if that's going to end up in a patent somehow or somewhere, but it is nice to know that if you need to deploy this out of your pocket in a heartbeat, all you got to do is pull it out, let your pants pocket catch the edge of this, and it'll deploy faster than about anything out there that is a folding knife. That is really, really freaking cool. Next up, we've got one that comes in AM8 branded boxes. And AM8, just so you know, is Miguron. Miguron is AM8. AM8 is Miguron. This is the Mark II, and it's going to, at first glance, look kind of similar to the last knife that we talked about. Very similar blade shape, although I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I have not been able to successfully wave this out of my pocket with this. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying for some reason, I can't get this to wave as easily out of the pocket. But this knife was the biggest surprise out of the entire bunch, and I'm going to tell you specifically why. This is the DC Blades Mark II, and it is a karambit or a Pikal style knife with a removable retention ring. I know some people out there are revving up their keyboards. Oh, I hate retention rings. Blah, 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 gas station, whatever. Listen, retention rings actually do serve a really, really big purpose. And for some people, they don't like them and they never will. And I'm here to tell you that that's fine, because you can actually take the retention ring out. Now, the retention ring does act as a backspacer, but there are floating barrel spacers within here. So it's not that hard. Couple T8 screws, pop that guy out, screw them into the barrel spacers, and boom, you've got this guy without the retention ring. Now, what surprised me about this one was the utility with the crossbar style lock. People might not know this, but the crossbar style lock was invented by Bill McHenry and Jason Williams a long, long time ago. Now, one of the things that they wanted when they designed the crossbar style lock, or at the time they called it the Axis lock, especially for you benchmade fans out there, was they wanted it to be something that you could use in a self-defense scenario with the adrenaline pumping, with your blood going a million miles an hour. They wanted somebody to be able to literally fling out the blade. Now, that is significant, and that's not something that I expected to really like on a Pikal or a karambit style knife, but hear me out. One of the things that people who actually practice and train with karambits will do is they will practice flipping it with this retention ring. It allows them to index it in many different ways. It allows them to extend reach by doing a regular flip. And what's really cool about this is that you can actually open it with inertia. And I'll show you how that works at a better angle. It's kind of hard to do on this tabletop shot. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. But it's really cool to me that you could actually inertia open this. It's almost kind of like a gravity knife style open because you're opening it with the inertia. This does not have a traditional detent ball. No, the detent is provided by the lock face geometry interacting with the crossbar and those omega springs. That's really cool, and it's something that I find to be highly addictive. If you guys are out there, do you like fidgeting with karambit style knives or knives with retention rings? Whether or not you are using it seriously for self-defense or anything like that, it's just a lot of fun to be able to do that. And I can't tell you how much time I've actually spent just inertia deploying this knife. Some of you guys are going to look at that like it's the most deplorable thing in the world. And you know what? Have at it in the comment section. I'm just here to tell you that that's really enjoyable. 3D milled titanium pocket clip, frag pattern milling on these aluminum handle scales, and the blade is 14C28N. Now, I talked to Tier 1 Gear, who is one half of DC Blades, and he told me that they've already released these a couple times and they keep selling out. Right now, you can buy this on the DC Blades website for $70. $70 is a really good deal for this. You get a solid axis lock, a removable retention ring, although I can tell you from my perspective, I have no desire to remove this whatsoever. And a regular grip, not my favorite. This is not really a knife that's built for a regular grip, but it is built with the person in mind who is planning on contingencies. And speaking of contingencies, this isn't even a knife that you have to deploy. If you want to go with a non-lethal option, you could, of course, just use this like that. Yeah, you see that? That's nasty. It's a nasty little spike on that retention ring, and you could seriously hammer into something like this. So if you want to go non-lethal, you absolutely could, or if you want to use it as a regular karambit style knife, you absolutely could. Of course, you could take off the retention ring altogether. The choice is yours. The pocket clip is fully reversible, and we've got milling right there, so it slots right in and makes it perfectly ambidextrous for your carry. And last but not least, we've got a couple really cool fixed blades. When I say really cool, let's start off with this one. This is the DC Blades Mantis. And you know what? For those who have followed along, this reminds me of the very first DC Blades scythe that was ever released. The difference is that the regular DC Blades scythe fixed blade was a custom knife and it had the edge right here on the swell. This one is kind of similar-esque and it has the edge right here on the recurve of the blade. Now this is, of course, going to shine in a reverse style grip, and they've got a couple different options here. They're going to be ranging anywhere from $70 to $100, and the craftsmanship here is beautiful. This variant has the basket weave carbon fiber. They are contoured handle scales, and it's a full tang design, so you've got perfect stability all the way through. I'm a big fan of the red G10 lining, that carbon fiber handle scale, and it feels super comfortable in the hand, very easy to index, and it's going to be featuring a Kydex sheath with the tech lock. Now, I did try to swap this around to see if I could do a kind of horizontal or appendix style carry. Nuh-uh. This is only going to be carried on the belt horizontally up and down. You could, of course, swap this out for something like some pull-the-dot loops. You could really do that, or you could use this to affix to like the strap of a backpack or onto, you know, a piece of your gear. If you're going deep carry or something like that, you could really go ahead and make that your own. Now, on this one, it's primarily going to be here on this recurve, very stabby tip. That is meant for piercing. This is one of those blades that when I say that it is a knife is a tool, in this case, the tool has a specific job in mind, and that job is going to be more of a self-defense. This is a serious piece of cutlery. Now, on this one specifically, I got this one out of the box first, and the first thought in my head was, man, I kind of wish that we had a double-edged blade right here. I asked them about that, and what I was told was, well, it's hard to sell a double-edged blade because they're illegal in many jurisdictions. That being said, it wouldn't be terribly hard to get someone to regrind this to put a secondary edge right there. And if you were to do that, you could actually carry it like this, and you could in fact use it for something more utilitarian other than, you know, self-defense. So that's cool. And then the second knife that I got out was this one, and it's the same knife, this one in that gorgeous silver twill that I'm a huge fan of, but also check this out. We have real serrations on this other edge. That is truly wicked. That is truly wicked. When I say that these are real serrations, I mean that you can actually cut stuff with it. Let me show you what I mean. Now, keep in mind that serrations are not known for their slicing ability, but you can 100%. Those are sharp. Those are sharp. No question about it. And you know what I love about these big serrations is that these are actually going to be easier to sharpen than those tiny little serrations. Yeah, that's cool. Of course, it's meant for ripping and tearing, but look at it go through that paper like it's nothing. And of course, on the regular recurve style blade as well, it's going to be very, very slicey. What it's meant to do is to pierce into things and to pull out. And when you do that, it's going to pull the material, we'll call it material, into the curvature of this blade. And it's going to make it a bad time for anything or anyone that you decide to put this through. I love this one specifically with the serrations because you could, of course, use those serrations in a regular type cut, and it gives you extra utility, extra options, extremely easy to index, and just overall a wicked looking fixed blade. All right, guys, but now I'm curious. We went through 6 different knives, an almost entire lineup of DC blades. Let me know what your thoughts are on these knives in the comments section down below. Do any of these pique your interest, or is the style too wild for your taste? Let me know. Let's have that conversation down below. And of course, if you want to watch some more awesome knife and EDC content, go ahead and click on one of the videos that pops up next.